7. A Day's End. If Coronis and Palula had believed they'd seen everything the world had to throw at a changeling, they were once again surprised with something new. The sisters had been enjoying a pleasant day out in Ponyville, having arrived with much of the hive ready for the summer sun celebration. Both mares had side by side walked around the gentle countryside surrounding the town before stopping off at a small cafe on a street corner. There they'd partaken in some nice and cold glasses of lemonade and a light lunch consisting of daisy sandwiches and some fruit. Palula had been disappointed to find they lacked a carnivore menu, but Coronis had pointed out that it was to be expected in a small business that seldom, if ever, would see griffin patronage, or that of any other meat-eating species for that matter. After they were done, and with nothing that the other changelings particularly needed their help with as they went about their assisting and setup of the celebration, the two continued their self-led tour of the town. It was much as they remembered it, though there were a few new buildings that had cropped up over the years. The enjoyable walk had eventually led them to the local park, and that brought them to the here and now, where they were seeing something quite unexpected. They had escaped a doomed hive, survived being homeless in the Crystal Empire, found a new hive during an intense conflict, survived the flattening of Manhattan, and gotten through the trauma of mass mind control, and yet it was seeing Princess Avia hanging upside down from a tree by her hind leg, which was tangled in a rope, that really left them without words.
"Don't tell Mom,"
was all the nymph said upon sighting the changeling sisters, spinning slowly in circles as she continued to hang from the branch.
"Please?"
From nearby, 3 panicked pony fillies all ran over, with all sorts of leaves and twigs hanging out of and from their manes, which were also frazzled and messed up. The latter point seemed to distress the unicorn quite thoroughly.
"Ah, there you are!"
Apple Surprise exclaimed in relief, coming to a stop just below the swaying nymph.
"You went off mighty quick there."
"Yeah, it was awesome!"
Awesome Blitz gushed.
"You were all like wham, and then the zoom, and then you were gone."
"Girls, can I ask what in the hives is happening here?"
Coronis asked, not even sure if she wanted the answer.
"Please don't ask,"
Avia whimpered, blushing up a storm.
"Can I just get some help?" "I got it,"
Sapphire claimed, her horn lighting up and attempting to untangle the rope.
Maybe a twist here? No, there. Let me lend a hoof."
Palula spoke up, flying up to where the rope was attached to the tree and adding her own magic into the mix.
Sis, can you watch her when she drops? I'm not going to let the Princess of the Hive snap her neck, now am I? Good point.
After a few moments of prodding and probing the heavily knotted rope, Avia slid free from the tree and hurtled toward the ground. Her wings instantly kicked in, though Coronis placed a low-level levitation spell around Avia to assist her return to the ground. The moment the nymph hit the dirt, she swayed on her hooves before falling back onto her rump.
My head is all fuzzy. "Yeah, you were upside down,"
Palula said with a smirk.
"Trust me, not a good idea. All that blood's gone to your head." "Great,"
Avia replied, placing a hoof on her throbbing temple.
"Howie. Let me guess. Crusading?"
The mare asked knowingly, getting a pained nod in return.
"You do know we can't get cutie marks, right? Trust me, me and Juventus tried way back when we were your age." "So she said,"
the princess thought glumly to herself.
Oh, I thought for sure my idea would work.
Awesome Blitz sulked.
I told you so.
Apple Surprise deadpanned. Saronas giggled behind a hoof.
Well, at least you fillies are enjoying yourselves. But it will be dark soon.
Now that Avia thought about it, the light was beginning to fade, the horizon getting a distinctly orange hue to it. The twilight her mother was named after was, as always, very pretty, and it also told Avia something else, too.
Oh, I should probably go soon.
She noted, also noticing a slight grumble to her stomach.
And I need food. Yeah, we should probably be getting a move on as well.
Apple Surprise concurred.
I'm all wonder where I've wandered off to.
Can we hang out a little while longer?
Awesome Blitz asked sadly.
I'd like to, but I should probably head back to...
Sapphire responded, all while doing her best to fix her mane.
My mother is going to freak when she sees my mane, and I am not wandering Ponyville with it in such a disastrous state.
It's just a mane.
Blitz dryly shot back with a shrug. Sapphire seemed incensed by that remark, though the imminent argument that was to follow was quickly stopped when Apple Surprise interposed herself between the two.
We can all hang out tomorrow, can't we?
She suggested, looking specifically over to Avia.
Unless there's something else?
Avia shook her head.
Nope, I should be free tomorrow, and I'd really like to hang out with you guys some more, just... no more of Awesome Blitz's ideas?
The Pegasus pouted.
Killjoy?
Sure thing.
Apple Surprise agreed without missing a beat, quickly grabbing onto Avia and giving her a quick hug.
I'm really glad you joined the CMC, Avia.
Avia blushed again, patting the filly on the head before breaking from the hug.
Thanks. I'm glad I met you girls. Be it at Sugar Cube Corner around lunchtime? Or whatever time we run into one another, sure.
The Earth Pony confirmed with a happy nod.
But I should be heading on home. See y'all later.
With that, the fillies dispersed, with a few final words of farewell to one another, leaving the princess with just the two adult changeling mares. Her new friends were certainly odd, but she liked them, and it was giving her new ideas for a paper on what constituted a good cutie mark crusading and what was clearly bad cutie mark crusading, like all of Awesome Blitz's ideas.
Never again. So, you heading back to the library, kiddo?
Kalula asked with a light tap on Avia's shoulder to break the nymph from her musings.
Uh-huh.
Avia confirmed.
Oh, and both Grandma Velvet and Grandpa Nightlight have a surprise for me! Isn't that awesome?
She chuckled.
Sure is. Now get moving. Or who knows, they might forget about it.
Avia gasped.
No way they would ever forget! Well, you'd better hurry up then, just in case.
Avia did not need to be told twice, and with an eagerness in her movements, she lifted her wings and quickly took to the air. The princess flew straight out of the park and into the buildings beyond, leaving the view of the sisters.
Such a troublemaker.
Saronis noted with a laugh.
Reminds me of you, Pew. Oh, pish.
Palula dismissed, she and her sister continuing their walk.
That was ages ago. Not to me, Pulula.
Saronis replied with a small smile.
Not to me.
The first stars were beginning to twinkle brightly in the young night sky as Avia arrived back at the Golden Oaks Library, dropping to the ground and finishing the final few steps of the journey on hoof. Lights were on inside, and Avia could just see shadows moving within, indicating that the library currently had occupants. Avia happily trotted up to the door and swung it open with her magic, letting it close behind her as she slipped in.
Hi! I'm back!
She called out as she entered the main section of the library, taking stock of who was currently within. Her mother, her father, and her grandparents all turned to her with welcoming smiles.
Ah, there you are,
Twilight said, lifting her daughter up in her magic and dragging her into a large motherly cuddle as the filly giggled.
I was about to send out a search party.
Before Saronis called you in, anyway. Facade made sure to add. I hear you made some friends after all. Avia pouted, removing herself from her mother's grasp and back to the floor.
But I asked her not to tell you what happened.
Twilight blinked, and then an amused smile graced her muzzle.
She just said you were playing in the park with your new friends. What is it you didn't want her to tell us?
Avia felt like morphing into a tomato.
Nothing? Really? Nothing happened? It was just, well, can we drop this now, please? I really don't want to talk about it.
Leave the poor dear alone. Twilight Velvet lightly scolded her adoptive daughter, moving Avia's attention away from her mother.
I'm sure it was nothing serious. Your changelings would have told you if it was. Yes, Mother.
Twilight droned with a roll of her eyes.
Good,
Velvet replied with a nod.
Now that we're here, I seem to recall something about a present.
Avia gasped excitedly.
Oh, you did? Mine! Really? I could have sworn it was for Flurry Heart. Grandma!
Avia whined, trying to pull off the cutest puppy dog eyes she could. Honey, I think she's getting impatient, Nightlight said with a chuckle, levitating something wrapped in wrapping paper from a nearby saddlebag. Here you go, sweetheart, for a special filly's first summer sun celebration.
Yeah, like you need a reason to spoil her.
Twilight snorted. Avia ignored that comment, practically glowing with joy as Nightlight gave the present over to her. She took it in her hooves, giving it a big hug before getting to the best part, ripping away the paper. The colorful mess spilled to the floor, shards of paper destined for the dump as Avia beheld the item within.
A book! I called it!
And it was a rare book at that. Canterlot Canterbilly's Volume 31, signed by the original author, just as Nightlight had informed his daughter earlier that day. And as expected, Avia was over the moon about it.
Thank you!
Avia gushed as she immediately went to glomp her grandparents.
Thank you!
You're welcome, dear, Twilight Velvet gladly responded, returning the embrace alongside her husband. They hugged for a few moments before Avia was gently lifted in a lavender aura and pulled away from the two elderly unicorns.
You can start reading it in bed,
Twilight told her, setting her back down.
but not for too long. Remember, you've got a long, fun-filled day tomorrow that'll spread all the way to the following morning. And you don't want to miss the raising of the sun, do you?
Avia shook her head.
Nuh-uh! I'll go right now!
Twilight nodded.
Good. Head upstairs. I'll be along to tuck you in soon, and I'll bring you some food while you read.
Avia gave her a quick nod, gave her parents and grandparents a quick hug each, before taking the book, giving it a hug, and then scampering off upstairs to her given room. I'll make her some toast or something, Facade said as Avia vanished upstairs, quickly slipping into the kitchen to do just that. Velvet giggled.
Oh, that was just the reaction I was hoping for. I'm so happy she liked it.
There was ever a doubt? Nightlight asked jokingly.
Now we just need to hope Flurry Hearts is just as great.
Velvet squeed. Twilight gave her an amused look.
Flurry is 30, remember? And that means I can't spoil my grandful?
Velvet asked with a pout. The changeling queen rolled her eyes.
I guess not. But I am looking forward to seeing Shining and Cadence. Spike should be along around the same time, too.
That's going to be a sight. All those dragons, Nightlight mused.
It won't be anything like a dragon migration, but yeah.
Twilight agreed.
The rest of the Kennerlot nobility should start piling in, and the guard too, with them.
Which will mean that Broadsword and Vladimir will be showing their ugly mugs, Facade joked, emerging from the kitchen as he waited for the toast.
Just go easy on the cider,
Twilight deadpanned. Facade rolled his eyes. One or two won't hurt. Besides, they'll be on duty once the princesses turn up tomorrow night. We'll save the getting smashed part until after Avia's in bed.
I am not carrying you home.
I can carry myself. For what I lack in disguise magic, I make up for in fortitude. He claimed proudly before there was a ding from the kitchen that got his attention. Anyway, the princess requires her toast. I'd best get to it.
Yeah, you best.
Twilight replied with a laugh, Facade vanishing back into the kitchen. She then turned back to her pony parents.
Do you need me to walk you back to the hotel?
Oh, we'll be fine, Nightlight confidently replied. Actually, I'm half tempted to ask Facade if we can join in on the drinks tomorrow.
I'd be up for that,
Velvet agreed cheekily. Twilight glared at them.
I am not chasing after my husband, nymph, and parents tomorrow.
I mean, you could always join in, her father teased. You know, live a little. There's more to life than dusty old books, remember?
I'm the queen of the hive,
she protested in turn.
and I can't wait to read the tabloids about it,
Velvet chirped.
You are the worst, both of you.